Yo, what's up? SoaR Guapee here, and today I'm going to be going over what I believe to be the best drop locations on the current maps within rotation in Apex, that being World's Edge, Broken Moon, and Olympus. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so starting off with Olympus, Oasis I believe to be the best drop location on this map by far. It's a personal favourite of mine. I may be a bit biased in this one just because it's such a good spot for Revenant wall runs, but other than that, most of the spots I pick are usually ones that are universally loved by a lot of my homies as well, and everyone lands there when playing solo and trying to get high kill games in pubs. And Oasis is great. It's got opposing buildings that are identical and allow for segregated fights, but can also lead into good third-party battles right after. You have the bins in the middle as well that are good cross. There's enough cover to get to the opposing buildings, as well as an underground area led to by the zips. It has a lot of different variations of height and cover that you can play around. It makes for really fun and interesting fights as the match plays out, and overall I think it's a great location. It doesn't get third party too bad either, and allows you to rotate easy with tridents as well. This is easily the most entertaining spot to fight on the map, and you'll always leave with good loot and a large amount of kills, and you can just straight up rotate toward the states to get more kills for a really high kill game as well. And before we get into the next map, I want to give an honourable mention to both Gardens and Bonsai Plaza. Gardens is an overall decent location. It's just a bit harder to escape and get a good fight out of at the end of the day because the high ground is pretty hard to push. But other than that, great loot, really good rotation to Energy Depot as well. And then Bonsai Plaza is very similar to that of Oasis. The only downside is that it has these really long corridors on the high ground that are kind of a pain to fight in. But overall it plays very similar to Oasis and has everything that I mentioned in terms of fighting, looting and rotations there as well as a trident to lead straight to wherever you want to go for your next fight. Okay, so for the next map we're going to go over Broken Moon's locations, and I have a few here. First off, Terraformer, then the Core, and then Backup Atmo and Atmo Station. Starting off with Terraformer, this is overall a bit of a sketchy location in terms of how many people will show up to third party you, but other than that, it's got a massive wide open middle room with so much loot, so if you get out alive you're going to have plenty of supplies for the rest of the match, and the outer layers with all the bins is brilliant to fight around as well. Overall, it's a very high skill ceiling location in terms of surviving, but if you get out, it's probably the most rewarding on the entire map. And the only place that really compares, I think, is the Core. The Core offers something similar, but I think it's a bit easier to survive. The two buildings on the outer corner or sides, if you land there and get a good fight between both of those buildings, you'll have enough loot to clear the rest of the location, go into the Core itself, and third party whoever is fighting inside there as well. It's basically the same kind of deal, except the structure is completely different. I think the buildings on the outsides are great, and they'll lead to different zip rails to rotate as well. The best rotation from the Core is going to be straight to Promenade, which we all know is the most third-party centric location in the entire game. But those two locations, absolutely fantastic. It's just a bit hard to get out of. And then in terms of locations that are easier to escape from and not get third-partied, I'd say Atmo Station, and then on the other corner of the map, Backup Atmo. I think Atmo Station is way better because more people land there and it's a more common flight path for the ship to go over. But Backup Atmo is basically the same thing, except on the other side of the map with some zip rails to help for better rotations. Ammo Station I think is such a fun location to fight at. The zip lines on the side, obviously I'm biased because there's wall runs there too, but really fun location to fight at. Doesn't get third party too bad. You'll come out there with decent loot and a ton of kills for the rest of the match. So overall, those are the best locations on Broken Moon in my opinion. Okay, so finally moving on to World's Edge. We all know the drill here. Fragment is just supreme in every single way. If you want to improve at the game quickly and land hot in pubs and get as many kills as possible and just get the most action, this map and this location specifically are just incredible. I can't really recommend anywhere else on the map. I guess Skyhook is decent if it's a good drop, but West and East Fragment, anywhere within that area is so good for practicing all sorts of mechanics and just getting the most bang for your buck. If you land in Streamer building or Broken, start off with Streamer. I think Streamer is overall a more difficult building to learn and get around, but that's mainly because there's more zipline tech available to you, but the wide open floors leave you open for all sorts of different angles and gunfire, so it means you have to be on your toes a bit more. The different outplays you can do with every single legend in the game it's just so much fun, and I can't recommend it enough. It's a shame to think that they probably will end up removing these locations at some point, but I think it's detrimental for a game, like for a battle royale, to have a location on a map that allows you to get in and have instant action, especially with this much movement available, because it requires such a high skill ceiling and allows you to just instantly get in and warm up. And yeah, it's just a fantastic building overall. The opposite side, where you have broken building, personally my favorite building and location in the entire game. I like how much more tight it is. It's a very fast building, there's less time to cool off. I am a bit biased because it has incredible walls for me to use as well, but even when you're playing another legend, such as in the gameplay in the background where you see me play Ash for example, you can play anyone in this building and have so much fun. All of the structures on the side, there's vents and poles in the side of the building you can use to navigate if you're utilizing wall runs and super glides. Brilliant building overall, can't recommend it enough. All of the buildings surrounding the main buildings provide extra loot, and if you don't want to land specifically too hot and sort of third party on the side, you can do that, and then you can rotate straight to market, get all the loot over there. Overall, brilliant location. I can't imagine Apex without it, even though in the past it has had different variations, you know, back in season 3. Best spot in the game if you want to do, even just in ranked, like all the locations I have mentioned, they're all great in ranked, but specifically this one is so chaotic that in ranked, whenever World's Edge is in rotation, I can't help but land there just because it's so much fun, even if it results in us getting third partied. Brilliant spot, definitely the best in the game. And I think that's probably going to conclude it for all my favourite locations on each map. Quick honourable mentions to obviously the maps that aren't in rotation right now. Is it just Stormpoint and KC, I believe? KC, every time they have a variation of Skulltown, of course I'm going to go there, and Market is also decent, but I'll be honest, I hate that map. The Stormpoint has a Stormcatcher. Stormcatcher is a really underrated location. Great variations of cover around the room. Either side leads to either up or downhill, which is led by a zip line into a cannon as well for great rotations. I think it's just a brilliantly designed location. And yeah, that's about it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe, leave a like on the video, and yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.